Yeah, but the thing is, to add more teams, Noah, you then, if you want to do it properly, the reason they're getting away with this is to add more teams, strictly speaking, bots. The tournament between LEC and LCSC will often on world teams would be cool. Simulation of National. Yeah, oh, hang on, nice kill. Oh, and it's an execute back. Got to turn that around unless you actually have time to build up a system. And actually, if you're resetting all the time, it's a big time. The Rossman versus GXU might be the most insane thing I've ever seen. How insane? What, Sylph, how is it looking over there? Ooh, nice. From closer to get... I think that's an incredibly disingenuous statement for a number of reasons. Closer gonna have to get out of that. Trapped into turret, just about survives, and Velia burns the flash. Ooh, the red buff burn. I thought in the sense that actually that's what promotion and relegation would allow for. But that is not what franchising asks. And if you want to change that, then you need to probably buy out the franchising box, which is where we're coming back to again. Right, one thing. Lost Ratones are a bunch of like world caliber players who would normally develop world caliber price tags. You usually don't have to play at the minute. Oh, that supreme display of talent is disgusting. Yep, Kiana gets to do Kiana things, and that was a bit far. Temper Fate catches Nemesis. In comes the bot lane. Nemesis is going to have his Justice Punch interrupted, and Closer gets another. Because there's an NACL game coming. We'll see. We'll see. A good lead for Misa right now, and again, that's a Profane Hydra very early for Closer, who's going to blast some people. Good stun onto the likes of Velia, who's gone in, and is going to regret that immediately. Oh, Velia. That was very poor. Crownie's now going to die probably as well. Formie gets taunted, but they're still on vision. Nemesis is about to get stunned. Yep, over goes Closer, looking for some more. We'll still have the edge of Ixtal to work with. Also do the old school thing of, I'm now 3 levels ahead and 5,000 gold individually, and be valuable with that kind of amount of gold. I have to go to sleep. I have work at 3. God bless. Pretty hard playing LR's comp into Bard on Disengage 2. Very true, actually. I hadn't considered that part of it as well, but you're absolutely right. You are obligated to go diving in with the Galio Shinzao kind of combo, and actually, you go in and immediately get Tempered Fated, or Shockwaved, or Ornn ulted. Hell, Kiana ulted as well. Kiana quite good as a turnaround play. Batu! Ooh! Nearly got it. Had to leave. Or revenue. Not necessarily. And unless they can get that in writing from Riot, they won't agree to it. And I don't think Riot would agree to it. Say, of course they're not going to vote for it. Tempered Fate. Shield of Duran. Stun into the wall. Supreme display of talent. And it's Kiana again, guys. It's happening again. My Kiana. That's definitely not how it works. And if you want that, then you are asking for the LEC to fail, effectively, in part. Like, that cannot be the end result. Like, it's fine to want... That won't cut revenue share. Well, potentially it does. I don't actually know. But again, I'd look into it. But I know basically all the... their slot value, which is a big deal as well, because actually they leverage a lot of things against that value. Like, that does matter. And so theoretically, actually, what you're doing is you're losing LEC teams' money by having this coming in, which is a big deal when LEC teams are already kind of cutting it close. Like, G2 are just about breaking even. And the reason G2 broke even, as I understand it, is because they sold a load of damn shares in crypto. Like, they earned money this year because they showed that they sold their shares in crypto. Solana or whatever it was. I'm blowing you up. It's not fun. Slot got overvalued and declining anyway. Then Riot need to buy it out, is the answer. That's the way that the franchising works. The marketing value of LEC for Riot Games isn't really a consideration in terms of the cut that teams get. They don't, as I understand it anyway. Velia needs to Crescent Guard. Closer, not the best Supreme display of talent, actually. Closer has to flash out. Bit messy from Misa. Jumping on a Tungi, who survives. Call me in the back of the pick. Still look for a bit of damage here. Red buff. Doing quite a lot of work, actually, for a second or two, but it's still not enough. And Misa will get the kill onto Nemesis, who dies. So yeah, and again, part of the argument is that that this isn't necessarily making the LEC more profitable. Arguably, at least what the teams are saying, they're arguing that it's going to make them less profitable. And therefore, the LEC on a whole is less profitable. And therefore, actually, the teams will be able to afford less successful rosters, and teams will start folding or having to go with cheaper players. And therefore the competition will get worse. So actually it doesn't end up better, would be what they're arguing, right? Exactly, and viewership levels on the whole don't directly increase revenue. Crowny looks at the kill to Mihile. They're going to try and call the Forge God this. Good chunk back. Knock up on Baus. He's trapped under the turret. Has to get out. Crowny's desperately low. Mihile survives. Cormy's coming on over. They want to try and donate the kill over to the Oriana, who gets it with a command dissonance. Nicely worked. Hello, Mr. Watt. And arguably, as we're saying, they will get less money. Don't make that assumption. It is not necessarily correct. Yeah, exactly. If you give up 50% of your company to get exclusivity, and then one later you don't get that exclusivity, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I can see why that would be a challenging option. I stopped watching LEC because no nemesis. Fair. Again, a lot of people are fans of players, not teams as well, which has been a thing with esports because of the high turnover rate. It's one of the reasons why it sometimes struggles. Say, NA has struggled with creating new heroes, new players that people really want to get involved with, because actually people still fell in love with Double Lip, Yergson, Dyrus, Sneaky, Jensen, right? Dyrus. Oh, I've said that one already. I'm a cutie pie. Like these players, and they're not there anymore. And you don't get to have like a football player's career of like, okay, I watched this guy at 20 and then he's still playing till 34. You don't get a 14-year career. You get like a 2-year career or a 5-year career. Yeah. And so actually, you know, when those players retire or move on to something else, a lot of people follow that rather than the team. And that has been, oh my God, close is so strong. Fanatic fan, they change players every time. And that's part of the way it works, right? Because you've got to be competitive and you're there to win, or players get better offers and you can't afford to pay them, or players aren't good enough anymore, or get bought out, and those things happen. But then teams run into the issue. It's like, well, you know, actually this player is gone. What do you want us to do? We've got to try and go with what we got. And if you don't stick around the team, then they struggle to make the money. Because it's not the players that are the... Players being successful does not make the tournament successful. Teams being successful, teams doing well makes the tournament successful. Like those kind of things, not necessarily teams. Or actually, you would follow the player, not the team. And like Duambi for in the LPL, massive example. The Shy rookie, Uzi, God's sake, yeah. It's also offering you, like what is this ticket getting you? And it's not just a spot in the LEC, it's things like exclusivity, it's revenue shares, lots of other stuff as well. Good damage back. The Scream Spare Talent wasn't fantastic. Veli, I think, still dies. Yeah, we're going to 3. We're going to 3. We're going to 3. This is so over. My God. And again, I think you're missing a little bit here. I do. Like, yes, slots might have decreased in value as a straight, like, individual ticket. But I think LEC spots are worth more on the whole than LCS spots, or have been for the last few years anyway. To move to the Valorant model? Probably, but against Foge, then they need to buy up the slots. Yeah, because again, that's the big difference. How would you fight against Kiana? There's a few ways. Part of it is mashing her early. Part of it is she's very bloody squishy, and you can't just blow her up. We have seen teams successfully manage Kiana. Part of the problem,